So, Brian, off the top, I want to tell you something. I think that, and maybe I just feel like picking a fight, or maybe this is what I honestly think, but I'm pretty
Oh, we're
sure that
recording, aren't we?
we are recording. Yeah.
Okay, wow. All right, you jumped right in. I
I'm
was
just,
about to light up a smoke, but okay, let's go.
I mean, go ahead, light up a smoke because
All right.
I think you're gonna. All right, I'm just gonna say it. I think that cheese produced in Utah is probably better than cheese that's made in Wisconsin.
Wait, what? Why?
I just feel like
Explain yourself.
I'm probably right. I mean, I just don't know like what could possibly make cheese in Wisconsin so much better than anywhere else.
Well, it's one of the only like four things we're known for.
That doesn't mean you're good at it though. Like one of the only things Donald Trump is known for is being impeached twice. That doesn't make him a good president, right? Like
don't compare him to cheese. Like, come on, like
could be a
don't
fair
compare him to
comparison.
any cheese.
I've been thinking about this, and I wanted to pick a fight right at the beginning because I know that we
I
talk.
get sensitive about cheese. Yeah, I know. I
Yeah,
get
you
it.
do, and like we talk to Marsden every week, which is great. But there have definitely been times on Twitter when I've referred to him as the cheese pundit, and I know you've taken issue with that in the past.
Yeah.
So what makes like I don't get it. I honestly don't know. Like I'm just joking, but what makes Wisconsin cheese better? Like is it something you feed the cows?
Honestly, I don't know. Like, it's just I have like, it's just this tradition.
It's a tradition.
Like, yeah, I don't know much about it honestly. It seems so normal how much we have. Um, like I lived with my parents over the summer,
Uh-huh.
and they have like a fucking ungodly amount of cheese in their fridge. I just one day I just pulled out every single cheese and cheese-like product out of the fridge and like had this gigantic stack and took a picture of it and sent it to my friends in my group chat.
Okay.
None of whom live in anywhere in the Midwest. They're all like on the East Coast and the West Coast and shit. And I was like, this is a totally normal amount of cheese to have in your fridge, right? And everyone was like universally like, fuck no.
I mean, how much could it
Like,
possibly be?
It was like literally just several piles
Is it
of like
different
shredded
types
cheese,
of cheese,
block
or?
cheese, sliced cheese.
Okay. Because like at any given time in my fridge, I've got like 4 or 5 bags of shredded cheese, a bag or two of sliced cheese, and then usually string cheese.
Okay, yeah, we got that too. We have like like cheese spread.
Cheese spread. Okay. So like
That's a common one.
Maybe you've answered this in what you've already told me, but so it's not like an exaggeration. Cheese is just everywhere. Is there like a cheese shop on every corner, like next to the Starbucks, or?
Kinda, yeah, depending where you go. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's just everywhere.
So is there like for your parents, for instance, you say they have all this cheese. Is it all local Wisconsin cheese? Like if you
for the most part, yeah, for sure.
If you bought Kraft cheese or something, would you be like it? Like, would your parents just like look down on the idea of buying like name brand cheese?
They'll just be like, oh, more cheese. Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Yeah, we're not like we're not like horrible snobs like that. Like we don't like. We just love all cheese. All cheese all cheese matters, I guess. Yeah. I didn't mean that to come out like that. But.
All right. Well, you're definitely taking a side. I don't know if that's the right opinion for history, but all cheese matters, I guess. Well, that would imply black cheese matters. Is there black cheese?
I was trying to think what is like. I was trying to think what would be the opposite of all cheese matters. Like cheddar cheese matters.
Well, you'd have to. Oh my God, what is this? I've got pictures of black. I mean, I guess the outside is black. Oh, what is this?
Oh my God, that is horrifying.
Cheese wax? Charcoal cheese?
Ew. Yeah, I can't get down with that.
You just said that all cheese matters. You have to get down with that.
But that does not look appetizing at all. That looks like it's just burned.
It's just burned.
Beyond recognition. Like, I don't...
Now, so you are in Wisconsin. Did you ever work for a cheese manufacturer or a cheese store?
No, I haven't.
Like, is it a big, like,
I don't think it's like it's not like a, I don't think it's like a major employer necessarily. Like
So it's not like coal in Pennsylvania or West Virginia or something where
no,
like
I think I mean the dairy the dairy market for sure, yeah, but not. I don't know about like cheese, it's like specific jobs. Like I guess outside of working at like a factory or something,
all right.
produces it or whatever.
Okay, well,
But no, like I think like that's more associated with like dairy farmers and stuff.
okay.
That's where all the money is.
Are there a lot of dairy farms in Wisconsin? Is it like kind
Of course, yeah, we're called America's Dairyland for a reason.
well, but is it like spread across the
That's on
whole
our license
state,
plate.
or is it like
Oh, for sure, yeah.
concentrated in a certain area?
No, I don't think it's concentrated at all. I think it's everywhere.
Maybe
Maybe less so up north. Maybe I want to say, but I have no idea. I have no real knowledge there.
Are you north? I have no idea where Madison is.
No, we're south. We're south central.
Okay. Are you close to a border, or are you kind of right in the middle of the state?
We're like the south central, so like we're not really close to the border. We're close to Milwaukee. It's like an hour and a half away.
Okay. And do you like Milwaukee or you don't like Milwaukee? Because I'm confused about that as well.
I do, but it's not Madison. I like Milwaukee's cooler than every other place in Wisconsin. Like I would rather live there than anywhere else in Wisconsin. But Madison is the best. I like Madison is far superior.
Is that just is that
Wisconsin?
Is that your like? Is that
that's not a commonly held opinion? No.
Okay,
That's me being incredibly biased.
Okay, so it's not like that's not objectively the answer that
No,
most people
that's
would agree with?
that's probably a hot take.
Okay. I've got nothing to talk about at the top, and spoiler alert to everyone listening, I'm not really looking forward to what we're here to talk about today. So
no, I don't think either one of us are. Like, even if this album was really good, it's like this was not what we had planned. We were gonna do this episode, then we weren't gonna do it, and then we had the chance of getting a really insanely huge guest that you would never guess like who it was.
No, probably not. But yeah, unfortunately, the guest that we had planned on for this episode.
Now we're stuck doing this anyway.
Yeah. I mean, it's not worth getting into, I guess. But so what is Madison? Because so the reason I talk is you and I are in a group chat with Marston where we kind of plan when he's going to come to talk to us about merchandise stuff. And I specifically saw you guys talking about Milwaukee versus Madison, and both of you agreed nothing's quite like Madison. And I don't even know if Marston's been to Madison. What does Madison?
He has. Yeah.
Oh, he has. Okay, so
Yeah.
what is the appeal of Madison? I guess.
Madison's like it's like a really cool like city. It's really beautiful because it's on like we're surrounded by a lake on either side of it.
So it's like an island.
No, there's like an isthmus. It's built on an isthmus. It's one of the only cities built on an isthmus.
Okay.
It's Madison. I think the other one is somewhere in Washington. I want to say. But yeah, so it's unique like that, and it's like a college town too. So there's that environment. But it's kind of like it gets compared to like cool liberal cities like Austin, Texas, and like Asheville, North Carolina, Portland, Oregon, all those like dumb hipster places.
Yeah, I mean, I'm familiar with like Portland and Austin. Obviously, is kind of that reputation. I've heard of Asheville, North Carolina, but I don't know much.
Yeah,
about
Asheville's kind of it's like less. It's like that to less, but I think to a lesser extent. Asheville's really cool though. I like it there.
That's a question for you. Have you done a lot of traveling around the United States, or?
Not a whole lot. Not as an adult. No, I haven't left Madison technically at like the greater Madison area. I haven't left since COVID, so it's coming on like a year almost.
Yeah.
So I haven't really done a lot of traveling, and even before then, like I only go to like Chicago and Milwaukee. But no, I haven't traveled a lot by myself at all.
I know in one of our bonus episodes you mentioned maybe 3 years
Except
ago
for
you
the
went to
I went to
Boston.
Boston. Yeah, that was like the one. That's like the only time I went on like a vacation, quote unquote, as an adult.
Was that? Did you just go by yourself, or did you go with?
Yeah, that was just like that was a solo trip.
Now I know you went for a concert. Did you do any? Was
Not
that it, or
really.
did you do
That was
anything
pretty
in
much it.
Boston?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's pretty cool though. So yeah, like aside from that, I haven't done any traveling because I'm broke. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
What about you though? You got a whole family and everything. So you guys probably travel a lot.
we try to. I mean, just much like you, haven't really traveled in almost a year thanks to COVID. Our big thing was, I mean, I've talked about this before, is geocaching, and I think we have a goal of trying to find a geocache in all 50 states. So I think I think we've gotten to 30 states so far. So that's kind of been the basis of some of our traveling. I mean, our biggest ones were, so I've got family in Maryland, and Daisy has family in Virginia. So one year we flew out to Virginia and then drove up the coast to Boston and hit a bunch of states there. And then the next year, my cousin got married in Florida, and we flew out there and drove up to North Carolina and flew out of there. So we were able to knock out, like, between those two trips, like, I don't know, maybe 10 states or more.
Nice. That's cool.
It's hard because if it was, I mean, I really like the beach, so I like just going to California because obviously that's the closest beach. But
For
that,
sure, yeah.
so like, I mean, between time and money, every year, it's like we have to choose: do we just want to go to the beach again, or do we want to go somewhere we haven't been? And as Daisy would say, we've run out of cool new states to go to. Like, I really want to go to like Tennessee next, but she has no interest in that. She thinks that sounds boring.
Come through Wisconsin.
Yeah, Wisconsin's one we haven't hit yet, so we definitely have to.
I mean,
We
the
have to
Midwest
get out
isn't
there.
that great, but
I don't think so.
yeah. I'd say Madison's a pretty cool would be a pretty cool town to visit.
So we almost went to Cincinnati a couple years ago because always try to pick cities that are like right on the border, so you can grab like a few
Oh, yeah.
states at the same time. So Cincinnati
for sure,
would have been
yeah.
like Ohio and Kentucky, and then maybe a couple others. So
Yeah. Well, shit. Are we gonna get into this record or?
yeah, I guess let's check in. Speaking of Marsden, let's check in with him now to hear what he has to say with this album's cover art. And I guess normally we say it before now, but we're talking about "Life in Dreaming" by Hidden in Plain View. So yeah, let's kick it over to Marsden. All right, Welcome back to the pod. Our cover art extraordinaire, Marsden Ash. Marsden, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good, Alex. How are you and Brian doing?
We're doing good.
Good. Wait, just a second. You use your name on this pod, right, Brian?
I do. Yeah.
Okay. I feel like we've literally discussed that on here before, but
We have, yeah.
there was a pause there when I said that, and I was like, wait, am I fucking up?
Right, yeah. I'd have to get out the bleeping sound effect and just bleep right
just
over
wanted
that.
to make sure.
Okay, so
I'm good. How are you guys?
I'm doing well.
Yeah, I'm doing great, man.
This is the first time we've talked since the new year. How was your holiday season?
Oh, true. I mean, super quiet. You know, obviously, for those that don't know, Toronto is still very much in lockdown. But I mean, outside of that, also just for a number of family reasons, me and my partner have been kind of living as if we were in lockdown, even when the city wasn't.
Yeah.
We have some high risk family members, so just being extra careful, you know. And so, not surprisingly, our holidays were pretty quiet, but good, you know.
Good.
My partner especially has like a very high power career-y type job that demands a lot of them. So it was nice for them to have some time away from work. Nice for both of us, obviously.
Gotcha. Well, that's good. That's what the holidays are about, right?
It was good as well.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay.
So
we're here to talk about.
got?
Yeah, we've got this cover right here. The album is Hidden in Plain View. That's the band name. The album's called Life in Dreaming. Anyone listening can look it up, but like to me, it's like a little. I don't know. I actually feel like this little boy on the front cover has been your Twitter Avi at one point, or something very similar to it.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what that was. There was definitely I feel like it was in reference to somebody mentioning something to do with like chimney sweeps.
Maybe. I just remember you had. I get very confused by your Twitter account because I'm very used to
Yeah,
just scrolling through the timeline and I recognize the picture, so I know who's tweeting, and I'll see
that's fair.
you and you change your picture and your name, and I'm like, what? And then I'll look, I'm like, oh, it's Marsden. I like,
And usually I change all three at once too. That's
right.
the thing. Like whenever I think of the joke, I will change all three. Yeah,
Right. Yes.
it's confusing. But yeah, I feel like I had something very similar to this at one point, and I don't totally remember the joke. But
Okay.
In any case, if it didn't totally give it away, my comparing this boy to a chimney sweep probably says something about this for anyone who isn't totally looking at it. This definitely has to me a bit of a like. I mean, there's certainly a bit of a like Victoriana or like steampunky kind of vibe, which I feel like I've brought up on a few episodes. I was surprised going into this. I did not expect there to be as much like steampunk Victoriana adjacent sort of imagery, and on here. And I should clarify that like I don't mean we're not talking like balls to the wall steampunk, like, like gears and welding goggles, but
right.
in the same way that, even like Neutral Milk Hotel or someone have some kind of like aesthetics that feel adjacent to that in their artwork, and that's certainly the case here too. Like this one to me really looks like it could be like a like the art on a Jeff Vandermeer paperback or something.
Okay.
Like it looks like it has like gothic sci-fi overtones. Not in that I think it'll sound like that, but just from a purely aesthetic perspective. And in terms of what I think it will sound like, the fact that it has that kind of sort of like gothic surrealism aesthetic quality, but knowing what label it's on kind of automatically makes me think that it's going to exist in this particular space of, how people who don't know anything about subculture, maybe this is like a mid-2000s thing, but people who don't know anything about subculture love to call things goth or emo that are not those things, just because there is like maybe an implied like darkness or sadness in the imagery.
That was me. Yes.
The thing that like jumps to mind in a major way for me is like I feel like I have a recollection of people like referring to stuff like The Used as being goth. When I was in junior high, and being like, even at like 12 years old, knowing like that's not
right.
the right word for this. And I will say that, like, to the credit of people who were confusing those terms, at that age, I was just like angry at them for confusing various subcultures. Now,
Sure.
as an adult, it's easier for me to look at it and be like, okay, I get if you were not into any of these things, that like it's understandable why you might look and be like, yeah, these aesthetics look like the same thing. Whereas, like when I was a kid, I was like, actually that stuff has nothing to do with like the house or like
Right. Yeah.
but this makes me kind of think of that, which makes me think that it's gonna kind of occupy that, and I don't really even know what to call that kind of music, but like music that I didn't listen to, but got angry when people identified it as being goth, because I knew that it wasn't that, at least.
Okay. But so are you saying, I heard you mention specifically like in the realm of that type of band, The Used. So you're saying you think it's going to kind of sound in that same vein, or?
I don't know if I actually get their sound from this cover art.
Okay.
I feel probably more like it will be in the vein of like who can I even use as an example? I feel like I remember that like a lot of people would attach that word goth to bands like Hawthorne Heights and stuff.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
that I'm like, this isn't goth music,
Right.
but like very like skinny guy sounding post hardcore, you know. But like I feel like this is not going to be as like frenzied or loud as that kind of stuff, but maybe like I am getting from this cover that this would be the like the more chill side of the iPod Shuffle of someone who also listens to that.
Okay.
I like that.
So this is the song Ashes, Ashes by Hidden in Plain View. I hope the audio sounds good for us because we did not test.
Maybe not as much on the killer side of the iPod Shuffle as I thought it was going to be, but I feel like I was still in the right headspace.
I think you are in the right headspace. And this, I mean, we're obviously not going to play every song for you, but this is probably the heaviest song on the album, in my opinion. It does get a lot more what I think you're describing, getting at like the chill side of the iPod Shuffle of someone who is more into bands like, you know, Hawthorne Heights and things like that.
It definitely evokes sort of the same. I had like a very brief window of being into that sort of bands before I kind of like, you know, when you're like first getting into punk, you kind of like, you hear a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
And there was like a very brief period of time that I was into some of those like MySpace Screamo era bands before I kind of more firmly was like, no, I'm in this different camp of punk music and just continued to lean that way. But all that being said, being that I did have a brief window of listening to that kind of music, this feels close enough to it that it's still, I don't know, evokes like a feeling of nostalgia, even though I've never heard this band, you know?
Good nostalgia or bad nostalgia?
A bit of both. A bit of both. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, like I'm at a point in my life where I would say that like I do not at all feel, you know, like embarrassed about. There was definitely a time where like I would never have admitted that I would sometimes give a nostalgia listen to like, you know, Taking Back Sunday or Hawthorne Heights. Whereas now I like, oh, absolutely, I will. Even though that is like remote from what I listen to now,
Yeah.
I'll throw that on a few times a year and be like, yeah, I feel like a kid listening to this and it's good. And although I did not listen to this band at that time, I get the same feeling from it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, again, you're kind of hitting all the right things. We talked about this band actually last week in our episode about the comp because they're featured on the comp. And I think Brian and our guest Mark Teo both mentioned that these kind of sound like Taking Back Sunday light, essentially.
Yep, I can see that for sure. Like, I don't know why I didn't bring the name up when I was first making my guess, but yeah, I mean, because that's what it reminds me of, you know,
For sure.
in a broader sense, not just having heard it, but like aesthetically.
For sure. Okay, I think you did good on that one.
Big memory. Yeah. What do you?
Okay, thanks, Marston.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I will look forward to what you've got for me next time.
All right, perfect. Okay, so that was Marston Ash with his take on the cover art of Life and Dreaming, Hidden in Plain View. Brian, this is one. So when we started this endeavor, I originally wanted to do every release on Drive-Thru Records. You were the only person in the world dumb enough to agree to do a podcast with me. So we had to kind of come to an agreement about what the format was going to be. So we agreed that this first collection, we were going to do between 10 and 15 episodes about Drive-Thru Records albums. And it looks like it's going to be around 14. This was originally on a list that you had given me of ones you want to talk about.
Yeah, I
Then
don't know
we-
why I did that. I don't know why I wanted to talk about this one.
Okay, so that's what I was gonna get to because we took it off and then we put it back on.
What was
And
I thinking?
And I thought we put it back. First of all, it was on your first list, and then we got put back on. So I thought that you actually might like it. But then, for anyone who's behind the paywall, may have heard us talk about this band ever so briefly on our discussion of Disc 2 of the Drive Thru Records Pure Volume comp with Mark Tio. And you referred to this band as a very poor man's version of Taking Back Sunday, quote, so poor that they owe someone money. So then I was confused as to why we're talking about this album, because I thought maybe it was one that you were interested in.
No, I mean, like, hey, look, I mean, there's nothing wrong with being a poor man's Taking Back Sunday. That like being so poor that you owe someone money. Like, I mean, I owe someone like $300 right now, and like it's all I ever think about. It drives me insane. And like he says it's cool, you know, like not to worry about it. But in my head, it's like that movie Uncut Gems, like all day. Like,
Okay.
I'm just like, dude, this is gonna end poorly. I'm not gonna get the money quick enough. Like, I'm like, and you know, I'm like looking over my shoulder all the fucking time.
I assume
Like-
the person you owe money to isn't violent, though, right? Like, I haven't seen Uncut Gems, but isn't it a
seen
loan
Uncut
shark?
Gems? What?
No,
Why not?
I'm done with Sandler.
Really? That's a hot take. Well, let's explore that.
I have no desire to see any of his new movies when they come out. Like, I would see Uncut Gems if someone was like, "Hey, do you want to watch this with me? I really want to watch it." I'd be like, "Yeah, okay." I'm not gonna be like, it's not like Pirates of the Caribbean. We're like, no, I'm not ever going to watch that or something. But I never had any desire to see Uncut Gems.
Pirates of the Caribbean. That's your go-to of like, get that a fuck away from me. Like, that's
Yeah,
like,
because in high school, everyone's like, "Oh, you've got to see it. You've got to go see it."
Yeah,
And just the fact that
yeah.
everyone kept telling me, so I said, "Okay, I'm never going to see it."
nice. I like that. I like that energy. There's so many things that I haven't like listened to or watched for that same reason where it's
Yeah,
like
I think that's reasonable.
Yeah, that's perfectly reasonable. Yeah, not everyone can be right all the time.
Right.
But in the case of Uncut Gems, the hype is very real. I think
Is it good?
It's so fucking good. If you like those kind of movies, like if you like, it's like I don't know. They don't make movies like that anymore. I feel like.
Now, I am correct though, right? Like he owes money to like a loan shark, right?
He owes a lot of people a lot of money. Yeah, a lot of different
Okay.
people.
Do
Yeah.
you owe money to a loan shark? Is that like what you're trying to tell us?
No,
Or?
no, it's not important who and why I owe someone $300.
Okay. Well, when you say
Who
it's
and the
like
why and the what, that's not important. I was just trying to.
okay,
Yeah, I was just trying to make a joke about this band.
so we don't need to be worried about your safety.
No, I locked the
Okay.
door.
You lied. Okay, so it's okay that they're a poor man's Taking Back Sunday. I'm still like very confused as to where you land on this band and this album.
Okay, so this album sucks, and I listened to it like right before we started this podcast,
Okay.
and like at first I thought the whole Taking Back Sunday ripoff thing worked in its favor because it's like I like Taking Back Sunday. It's
Sure.
specifically their first album. I think you'd agree with me there.
Yeah.
But then I don't know. It's like it's like they kept like, but they don't have like any of the charm of like or personality of Taking Back Sunday. There's a certain like charm to Taking Back Sunday's first album that like this band just did not have at all. It's like and they didn't like, and this band like didn't know how to write more than one song, it felt like at times.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I don't know. It was like really like maybe a little more like heavy than like Taking Back Sunday. Like it felt like they really wanted to try to be a heavier band, but never quite got there.
I agree with that. I wasn't necessarily sure what they're going for because sometimes they do try to be ostensibly more heavy, especially like on like the first two tracks, like Ashes, well, that's second, and then Bleed for You. I think those are probably the two heaviest tracks on the record. So it's like they open up with that, and then it gets a lot more soft after that, I guess, would be the best word.
Yeah, like the intensity was there, like of Taking Back Sunday, with like all the shouty vocals and stuff coming at you from different angles.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like they took that like general principle of Taking Back Sunday and then just took away like the sense of humor and the really like one of a kind lyrics, like that made that album so resonant with so many people.
I mean, I assume we're talking about Tell All Your Friends, right?
Yeah. That's the only one you need.
I agree. That's the best one. But I mean, this isn't a Taking Back Sunday pod, obviously. But now I'm curious what you mean about the. Not yet. I'm curious what you mean by their sense of humor. I mean, I'm sure they have one, but I don't know that I feel that in the album.
Maybe they don't have a sense of humor, but I feel like listening to Taking Back Sunday's first album now, a lot of it is really funny.
You think so?
Maybe not on purpose. Maybe their sense of humor isn't on purpose, but I feel like there is some sort of sense of self-awareness to their lyrics.
Well, that's your thing, right? You like songs that are funny on accident, right? Not funny on purpose.
I do prefer. Yeah, like I don't know how much we've talked about on this pod. That like my hot take is that music should only be funny on accident and not funny on purpose, and that all humor music sucks. And that includes Weird Al and The Lonely Island and all that.
I mean, fuck The Lonely Island, but Weird Al. I think Weird Al's great. Some of his stuff. I don't like have a reverential.
I like
him,
people
but...
like. It's gonna be so annoying. This is gonna sound really terrible, but it's gonna be so annoying when he dies.
You think so? I haven't even thought of that.
God. It's like I'm gonna feel like such a piece of shit. It's like he's so beloved. Like one of the first things I said on Twitter as the Fentoozler, I really got people mad was like, Weird Al fucking sucks. You guys are just falling for this bullshit. Like, I don't get it. And like that was the first time like someone on Twitter that who wasn't involved with the pod contacted the Fentoozler, and like it was like a couple of fan accounts were going after me.
Oh wow. Okay. So you're always stirring up shit, Jesus.
This is like the first month of the Fentoozler. Yeah, that was like the first time where I actually got the internet mad at me.
This is a question I had. In a real way. Were you on Twitter before the Fentoozler? Did you have a personal account? Do you or?
I did for a little while, but I never used it, and I didn't it was mostly for working purposes. I knew about Blink-155 way before the Fentoozler, and I had looked at I created a Twitter just to follow the podcast, but I wasn't interacting with people like that or anything. So everyone's introduction to me was basically the Fentoozler.
Okay.
So yeah, I guess I never really. I guess that's not a very well known thing.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure because I remember you telling me that you had been listening to that particular podcast from the beginning, but I wasn't sure if you had been interacting on Twitter at all before the Fentoozler.
No, I never had, but but yeah, that's what that makes me wonder why I even bothered having a disguise. You know how the Fentoozler has I never show my face, right?
Right.
It always seemed pointless because no one would have known who I was anyway.
That's true.
But he's a super villain, so he has to cover his face.
Here's an interesting tidbit, I guess maybe, and I swear to God, one week we're not going to talk about Blink-155 in one form or another, but I guess this is not the week that happens. Obviously, in that particular fandom, a lot of these Twitter accounts sprung up as alt accounts, right, based on something that would happen in one of the various episodes. And I was for a very long time trying to figure out what mine was going to be because I wanted to do one, but I didn't want to just do any old one. Although in the end, I did do a bunch of one-off stupid ones. But
what were your alt accounts? I don't think I ever knew.
Well, you'll just have to go search Twitter because I have admitted to most of them, I think, on Twitter, if not all. But there was a point where I was like, oh, maybe
Can't just list them off right now. Like,
I mean, I could. I was one of the Robins.
oh, that's right.
Robin Loves Love, the one that doesn't look like a creepy ventriloquist dummy.
Right.
I was the bowl of macaroni and cheese.
Oh wow.
And I think the other one was the dumbest one was one that I created to try to figure out what type of tea Sam's wife was making in the
that was
background.
you?
Yeah, that literally lasted for like a week because she answered me
Yeah.
right away, and then I had nothing to do with that account. So
I
those were the
remember
three.
tweeting that was like, I remember tweeting once, like early on in the Fentuzler's lifespan, like how it was such bullshit that the mac and cheese had more followers than me at the time.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
That's funny.
I was like, no offense to this delicious bowl of macaroni, but it's total bullshit that you have more followers than me.
I don't even know how many followers that account ended up having.
Yeah, I don't know either. It was really early on though for the Fentuzler.
But yeah, I considered making one based on the Fentuzler thing, but I didn't. But that was
Really?
Yeah, that
so
was
you
definitely an idea I had.
you could have been the Fentuzler if you wanted to.
I
You
could
were like,
have,
no.
but I think it.
Ah.
If anyone
Wow.
follows any of the alt accounts I just mentioned, it's clear that I don't put any time or effort into it, so it wouldn't have had the impact. I think
That's
that-
true.
that yours
Yeah,
had you actually
I had the
work with it,
time.
right?
I had nothing but time. I
Right.
still have nothing but time.
Okay, we're here to talk about something, and we're totally off track now. We're here to talk about your favorite Drive Thru Records album, Life and Dreaming by Hidden in Plain View. So, but you think it sucks. So the one album that you had mentioned that you knew of and thought we could talk about, you actually hate.
I think I just wanted an excuse to listen to this one
Okay.
because this was like lesser known to me. Like I had heard this name a lot growing up, but I couldn't tell you what it sounded like before today.
Okay, so this is not an album that you even ever really listened to before.
No, I just actually I wanted to hear it, and I don't know why. And yeah, I regret that decision.
Because
like,
find...
And
Go
like
ahead.
yeah, after a certain point, like I got mad that it was still on.
Okay.
I was like it put like I was like I smoked for the first time today, like while listening to this album, and like usually whatever you listen to when you first smoke, it's got to be really cool, really chill, because that's like the best part about smoking is like the first smoke of the day, you know, that first high of the day, you know.
I'll take your word
It's usually,
for it.
it's usually yeah, it's so like for me that's my experience at least, you know. It's like you always kind of peak early, and you got to have the right vibes, you know.
Okay.
And this is what I was listening to, and I didn't get that nice big high because this album really pissed me off because it was just on and just kept going, and like it's only a tight 40 minutes, but like it still felt like an eternity.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, and like, you know, I could have listened to anything while getting high for the first time today, you know, but I could have been listening to Lil Ugly Mane, you know.
Sure.
But no, I had to listen to this album.
So okay.
I can't even blame anyone else but myself.
Yeah, I mean this one's all on you because this was not on a list that I would have presented to talk about, given only 15 chances to talk about this record label. But I'm going to surprise you, or maybe not surprise you, and tell you that I actually have come to really enjoy this album and think that it's a good album. I don't think it's worth us talking about, but I think it's a good album.
I thought this was going to be a rare agree for us.
So
I was kind of getting excited. I was ready to like agree with you on everything for like the first time on this podcast. Like, I thought we were just gonna high five each other. Like, yeah, this album does suck. Am I right?
I don't think that doesn't appear to be what's going to happen. Like, I'm still completely with you that I don't think we should be talking about it. This is like not a record worth talking about. There's nothing mind blowing to uncover, or it's not even. I mean, maybe you would disagree with this, but even if you think it's bad, would you say that it's not so bad that it's even worth talking about how bad it is? It's just kind of there.
Yeah, yeah. I think I laid into it a little too hard for sure. Yeah, I think a lot of my criticism was more circumstantial than anything.
Circumstantial to the fact that it ruined your chance to be high.
It,
Or enjoy being high.
it ruined my afternoon for sure. Like my my post work unwind.
Right.
Even though there's not really too much to unwind from, like, I literally don't do much like at all.
So
Wait,
for me, this album, like I've always really liked "Bleed for You" and "Ashes Ashes." Those were like the two that were on all of the, like, you could find them on MySpace, Pure Volume, any comps. I always really liked those. I picked up this album again out of necessity to complete this collection. And at the time, this would have been like 2005, I always just remember thinking, like, after those two songs, it just gets boring. And I always struggled to get through it. And like you said, it's only 40-ish minutes, but it always just felt like it was just dragging. And I don't know if I just had like some sort of ADD and wanted to listen to something else or whatever. But it was never one I kept coming back to. But for this, I've been listening to it for like the last week. This is probably the longest we've gone in between talking about drive-through releases at all, that I've had time to actually try to absorb it. With so many of the more recent episodes we've done, we've been recording them, like trying to schedule when we're recording the main episodes and guests and all this stuff, that I didn't have time to listen to a lot of the albums over and over again. But this one, it's all I've been listening to probably since we did the compilation episode a couple weeks ago, and it's still nothing amazing, but I actually appreciate pretty much every song on here. Like, I find a value in it that I did not see before.
Okay.
And I think, but I mean, I still don't know what they're going for. I feel like they are trying to be other bands, but I couldn't tell you what band they're trying to be. It's like they are just copying things they hear and not trying to make it their own. It's just like, oh, well, we heard something like this or something.
You don't
like
specifically hear Taking Back Sunday on this?
I can kind of hear that. I mean, obviously, dual vocalists and some screaming, scare quotes, but that's not the one that I ever picked up on. To me, I heard a lot of like lyrically trying to be maybe more punk type bands. Like, I heard a lot of things on here that sounded like Starting Line. I felt like one of the lyrics, it was like a nod to something corporate, but like a really rare or like deep cut something corporate song. I think they are fans of at least something corporate or Andrew McMahon, because they did get him to play piano on the closing track.
Oh, really?
Halcyon Days. So, I mean, there's that. That's why I was always excited for this one, because I knew that he was on there, and as we all know, I'm a big fan of his. But I mean, the piano part on that is so buried. So at the time, I was like, "Oh, this is nothing like something corporate or Jack's Mannequin. Why? Like, what is this?" But I really enjoy it now. I was thinking about it today, and I was like, "Okay, I really like the first 3 songs." And I kept listening. I was like, "Well, actually, the first 5 songs are really good." And I was like, "Oh, but I really like Garden Statement and the Innocent Ones." Like, okay, actually, I think I like this whole album. So I think it's good, but I'm still pissed that we're talking about it.
Yeah.
Oh, and
I got
it's like it was,
chips.
okay, what kind of chips are we doing?
Sorry, I got a mouthful of chips. We got Crunchers Sweet Hawaiian Style Onion.
Those are the ones I think you sent me a picture of before.
Yeah, probably. I could lose a lot.
You still owe me crab chips. You don't owe me. I'm willing to pay for them, but you said you would send them, and I gave you my address. Yeah. We're on Venmo together or whatever, but yet I have not received crab chips yet.
Yeah. I've been putting off a lot of stuff, but yeah, I'll get that to you. We can talk about that off pod.
That off pod. So looking at the Wikipedia here, maybe one of the other reasons they got Andrew on this is because it was produced by Jim Wirt, and
I was wondering who that was.
he produced all of Sunny Incorporate's records as well as the first Jack's Mannequin album, Everything in Transit. So there's that. Whatever that's worth.
Ooh.
I don't really have anything else to say about that. Like I thought you were gonna tell me it was a great album, and I was gonna surprise you by going, "You're right, Brian. This was good." I was
You thought I was
this
gonna like
gonna
this?
suck. That's why I thought you picked it.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
Of course, I thought you liked it.
It's been an unexpected journey.
I mean, do we want to watch any videos? I did some small research for it.
Yeah, and smart. That's a lot of videos you got there.
All right. Well, okay. Let's start with.
Dive into some of these videos.
Okay, this is them playing Ashes Ashes at their final appearance on the Warped Tour back in 2019.
They surprisingly don't look like just a bunch of old men playing this song.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Like,
They're actually pretty decent live. That's like.
I mean, I expect
Very
nothing less from a
youthful
drive-through band
performance.
at this point. Yeah, but do you remember when the Warped Tour used to be young people? Like everyone in this crowd looks like they are middle-aged.
Yeah, but the band doesn't seem like they're like gross old men like they should be at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I have no idea how old any of these people are. The singer, oh, he was the backing vocalist for the band Robert Freeman. Oh yeah, he's gonna be 40 in March. Okay. So yeah, that was, I think, at the Warped Tour 2019 in Atlantic City. So okay, that explains why I can see buildings in the background. I'm used to the Warped Tour being like a fairground or something.
Right.
Okay, so that was 2019. Here's them playing 20 Below at the Chain Reaction in 2003. Sunny, when I watched this video today and saw the lead singer, I was like, oh, I see the Taking Back Sunday now thing, like that hair and just kind of the way he holds the mic.
The tiny little T-shirt,
Yeah.
the tiny tight T-shirt thing. This is actually pretty sick. I don't know. I think some of these live videos might win me over.
Well, like, do you think that's just because it's been so long since we've gone to anything like this?
No.
So I'm gonna get to the end when it gets kind of.
I mean, like, this is a pretty small venue and shit. And I think actually, I never mind. I don't know what this is, but
It's the Chain Reaction.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, see, I'm used to like seeing like hardcore shows at like venues like this.
Yeah.
So this whole time I'm wondering why isn't anyone stage diving?
It seems
Why
like
is no
this
one
could be
getting
a
hit in the
stage diving type band, though.
Nah.
You don't think so? I mean, maybe we can talk more about this in a couple of weeks, but I've seen people try to open up a mosh pit at a Dashboard Confessional show when it was just him and his guitar. So, like, literally, people will try to do anything at a concert, I think. Or maybe that's just the repressed people in Utah.
That's definitely repressed people in Utah for sure.
Okay. if anyone from like Southern California is listening, please explain to me why the chain reaction is such a big deal. Because I see it everywhere, and when I'm researching my videos, is it just because that was the go-to place in like the Anaheim area for bands of the drive-through ilk, or is there something I'm missing? Is there a history there, or maybe you know, Brian, like you seem well versed on those sorts of things.
The chain reaction, I don't really know much about it. I think they've had like Sound and Fury, like a hardcore festival there a couple times, maybe.
Okay.
I could be wrong about that. Wait, is Chain Reaction like, is that like literally a chain of like theaters?
I don't think so. I thought there was just the one. I thought it was in Anaheim.
Oh, maybe. Anyway, I don't know what I'm talking about.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, last live video that I bothered finding is them playing Bleed For You. And this is from sometime, 2006. I don't know what this weird intro is on this video. Come on.
And her spirit spells put on to
They playing to no one? Like, what is going
It
on
looks
here?
like there's no one in the crowd.
that a silence falls, it's everything changes. When everything's silent, so you know there's a life. So you
It's terrible.
because you got it more than you may have wanted.
He looks like he put on some weight since the last video.
Take your pain away.
Oh, that's great. Put out another record, probably made some money. I don't know.
Went to a lot of fancy dinners.
Ate a lot of McRib. I mean, I think McRib was still regularly on the menu back in like 2004-5 time. So I don't know. All right. Do we want to do covers?
Yeah, let's like try to stay away from like acoustic covers if we can.
Well, let's see.
Is that going to be, or is that easier said than done?
That's easier said than done. Okay, let's start with a special shout out to previous guest of the pod, Make Belief, who has agreed to make Nightcore versions of the rest of the bands we'll be talking about this collection after one of our listeners said that the covers we find basically suck, and I can't really disagree with that. But here's a Nightcore version of Bleed For You by Make Belief.
Hell yeah.
So, all right, I feel like we talked about this on the Finch episode, going back that far, because the Nightcore version I found of that also had some sort of anime artwork. All of the videos that Skylar, aka Make Belief, who you can follow at Make Belief Music on Twitter, have some sort of anime video graphic like this. Do we know why Nightcore is tied to anime? I don't. Do you?
I honestly have no idea. I know next to nothing about Nightcore.
Yeah, same here.
I don't even know why they call it Nightcore.
Well, yeah, I don't either. So obviously we're the wrong people to try to talk about it. But it
I think
does
we're the only
remind
two
me.
people that don't know or don't like Nightcore.
Right. I didn't want to. I will admit that I'm not a Nightcore fan. I am very appreciative that Skylar did this for us. I hope that it appeases our millions of followers.
I always thought they were talking about Night Court, the TV show.
Night Court. Oh, were they looking for Night Court covers? Maybe Skylar can. Maybe that's what we can get. That
When
might
they talk
be
about
more
Night
interesting.
Court, I always thought they were talking about that show, Night Court. I thought they were saying Night Court, not Night Court.
Night Court covers.
Night Court was a good show, though.
It's such a good show.
Such
It's
a good
better
show.
than this album.
That's very true.
Okay, so that was Nightcore version of Hidden in Plain View's Bleed For You. Comes in at a quick minute and 45 seconds, so nice and sped up for all you Nightcore heads. Here's
Yeah,
one.
thank you, Make Believe,
Yeah, thank you.
for giving
Here's
us
one.
that content.
Yeah, any content that we don't have to make is always great. This is another Bleed For You. It's not a cover, but it's the song over a montage of clips from the Lion King TV show.
Of course. I mean, obviously. What else would it be? This is incredible. This is the best thing we've ever seen on this podcast. What the who like why? Like, I just
I don't know.
no. Wow. I'm enchanted by that.
You're enchanted. See, I thought that was going to be
I
the
was
one you would find
that took me somewhere else. It really took me to a different place.
Speaking of which, what's the vibe tonight? Are we high? Are we?
Oh yeah, we taking my temperature here.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we're keeping the streak alive. We're pretty high.
Okay. See, I wouldn't have guessed.
You never
Okay.
know.
Are you a big fan of seeing how our tax dollars are spent?
I guess so.
Here they are being spent by some medics, or no, they're not medics, but some sort of military people in Iraq doing an acoustic version of
really?
20 Below. So it's good to know that Drive Thru Records has played at least a small part in
The Iraq
conquering
War.
other countries.
Yeah.
I can't listen to any more of that, but in a few seconds.
Oh yeah, I just like after I get done bombing a hospital for no reason. This is exactly what I want to do.
Like if we were to keep
I
listening,
wanna unwind with some nice acoustic guitar and
if you keep listening, which I'm not going to make you do, like in a few seconds, there's like a female voice in the background that says like, "Oh, this is why you guys have such hot girlfriends." So apparently it's
getting on some chicks over there.
playing acoustic guitar to a song that probably no one in Iraq's ever heard of other than these two guys. So,
Right.
I mean, acoustic cover. Okay, I didn't actually watch this one, so let's see. This is a band called Less Than Average. It's not an acoustic cover, and it is them playing 20 Below, which seems to be a popular one to cover.
The band is called Less Than Average.
Yeah. The sound quality is not really good enough to tell if it's any good or not.
Yeah, the sound quality on this video is definitely less than average. Yeah, that was definitely less than average.
I found a video. It's called Hidden in Plain View. It comes up when you search Hidden in Plain View cover. It's this group of people that have traveled to Virginia to look at a plaque about free blacks of Israel Hill.
Oh,
At the beginning, they talk about how they are actually God's chosen people, and they are the Israelites, and this plaque is hidden in plain view, thus proving it.
oh!
I'm not going to offer an opinion one way or the other because I don't want to get wrapped into that, but
I don't want to get canceled. This would be, of all the episodes to get us canceled, this would be this would be a tough one.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is I don't want to get
Well, I would blame you completely since you've made us do this one.
Oh, what? I did?
You made us do this episode.
Oh
We
yeah,
get canceled because of it. It's your fault.
yeah.
I think that's all I've got. I've got nothing left worth playing or
Nothing in the
discussing.
tank, huh?
Do you have any final comments on this? I just want to go out and say that the idea of this collection, if we were going to limit it, was to talk about maybe not the best, but at least maybe the most representative albums of this record label. I don't know that this is it. It's definitely not one of the best. So I feel like we just kind of wasted a week because we thought we'd get a guest that we didn't get. Maybe we should have just not done this. I don't know, but to me, it's a decent album that I probably still won't ever listen to again. But I don't hate it.
Yeah, my hatred for this album has less to do with the album and more to do with my experience listening to it. And then yeah, I don't know. I thought this was okay. This was an okay time. I mean, we still got a couple episodes left. And
More than a
those are
couple,
all those. I'm looking forward to all three of those that I can think of off the top. I don't know how many more we have.
Let's see. 1, 2, 3. We got 5 left.
Okay, there's at least 4
Okay.
of the 5 that I could think of off the top of my head, without listing them out loud to each other and spoiling future episodes.
Right. Yeah, we don't want to do that.
There's I could think of at least 4 that I'm really looking forward to.
Okay.
So
All right, well-
I knew this was like these last couple of weeks have been really weird.
For the pod or for you?
The pod, it's like sometimes we're hosting another podcast, sometimes we're reviewing an 80 million song long comp. The last couple episodes have been kind of weird, so it's I thought maybe listening to this album and just having not having a guest, just talking about one album, just having the tired and true format, I thought that would kind of take us back to some normalcy and we can really make some good content out of it. But
I think this was still better than when we did River Phoenix.
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I don't know. That's a really low bar to clear, but I'll give it that. I'll give it that. This episode and this album that. So.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else? Anything else to say?
I think that's it.
Okay. All right.
Don't give up on Adam Sandler.